All right, you guys. So today I'm doing one of my best friends, Christina hair. And y'all don't ever see her on my channel because Christina does not wear wigs. Now, when I was doing her hair at the shop, I used to do lace closure sew-ins on her. But ever since I stopped doing her hair, she stopped trusting people with her closures. So now she just gets partial sew-ins. But even then, like, her sew-ins don't be all that. So I was like, you know what, for your birthday, I gotta do it. Now, I don't want to brag or nothing, but I really did grow Christina's hair out. Like, when I first started doing her hair was literally at her shoulders. And I told Christina, listen, forget these silk presses. You need to start getting sew-ins. So she started getting sew-ins. First we were doing the partials, but then it was breaking her hair off in the front, in the edges, like, everyone knows. So I was like, you need to start doing closures. So after months and months of trying to convince her, we finally started doing closures. And y'all, after like 2 years of doing consistent lace closure sew-ins back to back to back, her hair grew tremendously. Like, as y'all can see, it's halfway down her back, and I honestly feel like if I was still doing her hair, it would be longer because her hair, it can get really long. So, okay, fast forward, I'm not taking appointments anymore and I'm only installing frontal wigs. So Christina started going back to her partial sew-ins, and all I can say is we are back to square one. I mean, well, actually, we're not at square one because her hair is long as hell, but it's just like, girl, like, can I please do a closure on you because the hair at the top is breaking off, and it's hurting my feelings because I remember when her hair in the front was literally as long as her hair in the back. But I mean, you know what? It's okay. Listen, she don't care. So, I mean, I can't care more than she cares. So, so today we're doing another partial sewing on her, and I really wanted to show you guys my technique and how I do it and really make this video as detailed as possible because I don't do a lot of these. So I told Christina to show up at my studio, washed and blow dried, and I blow dried it out a little bit more to make it straight. And now I'm taking the flat iron and just like vaguely pressing it out so I can give her a good trim. But I also press her hair out before I do sew-ins on her just to make it easier to braid because her hair is so thick and so long. Like, when her hair is in its natural state and when it's like, curly, like really poofy, the braids end up really big. So I have to press it out sometimes, or really every time, to make the braids smaller and so it's easier on my fingers. All right, so everything is nice and pressed out. Now it's time for the trim. So I do my trims the exact same way on everyone every single time. So I start with the middle part and I make sure my model's head is straight up. And first I take my scissors and cut the hair straight down, all right? So the ends are nice and even, nice and trimmed up. Then I take the hair out at a 45 and then I take it at a 90, which is straight up. All right, so this is really important. All right, so when y'all take the hair out at that 45-degree angle, right, make sure some hair is hanging down, like below it, because if you take all the hair from the bottom and pull it out at that 45, it's going to create spaces and it's going to mess up your cut. So as you can see, like when I'm taking it out at the 45, you see there's some hair still at the bottom that's just hanging down. All right, now that her hair is all trimmed up, now I'm gonna part the hair so we can start braiding. What happened right here?
What trim? Oh, it's short. Heat damage.
No, it looks like somebody cut your braid. It's like a straight.
Oh, I cut it. I cut my hair out yesterday.
Y'all can already tell how I'm about to be with my daughter. All right, so here is another tip for y'all to use in the shop or on yourselves. So when you're doing your part for, your versatile or your partial sewings, make sure the leave out goes all the way back to the middle of the head. And I do this because as the sewing gets older, the braids tend to like swell up and the sewing starts to like rise. And if the braids are sitting on top of your head, like right at the middle, like the crown of your head, then your sewing is gonna go up. But if you have hair out there, then the sewing is only gonna come outwards and at least it's still gonna be flat. Now, not all people do this, and this isn't ideal for all hair types, especially thin hair. But I mean, this is just something that I use for girls with long hair and hair that tends to swell up after like 2 weeks. All right, so with this foundation, I'm not leaving out no edges, period. Okay, because number one, her hair don't need it. And number two, her hair already comes out the sewing. Like, her hair can't be controlled. So I already know she's gonna have edges out in about 3 weeks. So I just go ahead and braid it all up. And also, I know that maybe an ideal braiding pattern would have been straight down, but I've tried everything on this girl's hair and I figured out that just doing the regular beehive is the best way, because when I do them straight down, her hair, it comes out. It starts to look loose. It starts to look crazy. And I don't know, I just chose to do the beehive this time instead of doing the braids going straight down. All right, cool. So I finished up her braid down and now I'm going to sew that braid in between her hair. And if y'all don't have your Mega Growth Hair Serum already, make sure you get your bottle off PrettyScientist.com. I make every single bottle by hand. I know everything that's in it, and baby, it works, okay? And I have testimonials. I just didn't put them out yet. But yes, get your Mega Growth Hair Serum off PrettyScientist.com. All right, so I did tell Christina to get me some braiding hair, but I forgot to tell her to bring me a net cap. So I'm just gonna use a stocking cap today because I need something to reinforce her braids, and I normally would use a net stocking cap, but I forgot it, so I'm just gonna use a regular stocking cap and call it a day. And if you're wondering what type of net I use, I don't use the hard net, like the long hard net, because it just takes too long. I don't feel like doing it. And when I was at the shop, I had to get people in and out. So I have to use, you know, the least time consuming technique. So I would just use the net caps. Yeah. But nonetheless, caps are absolutely necessary because it keeps the sewing together and it keeps the braids intact. All right, let's get to sewing in these bundles. So I'm using cotton thread. I use nylon a few times in my career, but I like the cotton because I don't know, it's just my thing. So I'm using the cotton thread, my long curved needle, and I have 3 bundles total. So I'm going to fold the tracks and double up the first whole 2 bundles and then single the last one. Now I do not, okay, never did, never will, cut the tracks, okay? I only cut the tracks at the top 2 rows to make it flat. But as far as the rest of the sewing, honey, we don't cut tracks, okay? We fold them. All right, so not cutting the tracks allows the wefts to stay intact. Like, they shed a lot less and the bundles can be reused easily. When you cut up the hair, it's hard to put it back in, you know? So don't cut your tracks, only the top 2 rows or the top 3 rows. All right, so 1 bundle is in, and I'm just gonna press out this first one just because, I don't know, I feel like I'm saving time, even though I'm probably not. But I just like doing it like this. All right, so now that I'm at the tippity top, when I get to this row, this is the first track that I'm actually gonna cut. I don't wanna fold this one because I don't want there to be any lumps and bumps right in the front of her hair. So yeah, this one has to be cut. And now that I'm looking at it, I feel like that top braid really could have been a lot smaller. But I mean, it's all right. I'm just gonna do my best and still make the sewing as flat as possible. All right, you guys. So all 3 bundles are sewn in. Now, I think I only had like a small piece left that I threw out that we didn't need. So yes, all 3 bundles are in. And now let's tend to this leave out. So I have this olive oil setting foam or this setting lotion, and I'm applying it to the hair because I'm going to mold it. Now, I don't always do this like when people are getting partial sew-ins, but I'm doing this for her because her hair tends to frizz up and just swell up so easy. So I feel like doing a wet set, you know, and putting her under the dryer is gonna make it flatter longer, and it actually works. And also, setting foam adds a moisture to the hair without making it oily. So it's been about 15 minutes under the dryer. So her hair is dry, the weave is dry. Now I'm going to take my flat iron and re-press out the top of those bundles and press out her natural hair. So do y'all see how her hair is moisturized? It's not oily at all, and it's like being obedient. That's because of that setting lotion. So this may be a trick that y'all can use at home to get your leave out to lay flat and just stay in place. All right, so we are finally done, and this is the final result, and I love it. It's flat, it's sleek, it's shiny, it's silky, and I'm never doing this again. So if you guys are not subscribed to my channel already, make sure you go ahead and do that and turn on your notifications. See y'all later.